I guess the biggest question is timing. A lot of people want to know when will it start and where it will start first, and eventually just basically the whole timeline of events of how things should unfold tomorrow.
Okay, well, northwestern portion of the state up near Sioux City is where it's going to start first. I would say early to mid-morning. And then that's going to eventually push its way eastward through central and northern portions of the state, reaching, I would say, not quite to Carroll by maybe noon to 1. I think we're going to start to see some snow in Des Moines around 2 or 3, but it's really going to depend on the dry air surface eating any of that. So depending how strong that is, may play a pretty big factor in how early we start to see the onset of snow. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be really across northwest Iowa first. Then it looks like it starts to slide off to the southeast throughout the afternoon, eventually pushes east. It has that east-southeast motion to it. And yeah, like you said, I think there's a lot of dry air at the surface. However, I think we'll saturate that pretty quickly. Another thing to watch tomorrow is the rain-snow line. Where that sets up, because wherever that sets up, there's going to be a sharp contrast. If you're on that line and just directly south of it, you're going to see a big steep cutoff compared to everyone else. If you're north of that line, it looks like you can see heavy snow, and then if you're south of that line, it looks like you may not even see a whole lot, maybe 1 to 2 inches. So wherever that line sits, and I think that's going to be the crucial point, and that's why a lot of people are hesitant on telling exact snowfalls right now, because that's one of the biggest things I think we're watching right now is where that line will set up. And right now it looks like it will be south of the Des Moines Metro. I don't know if you would agree there, but I think that line will be south of the Des Moines Metro. And if you go any further south, 1 or 2 counties, I think you'll see a very sharp gradient to taper off. I think the heaviest snow right now looks between Interstate 80 and south of Highway 20.
I would totally agree with that, especially with the latest model shifts taking everything to the south. I think that area has kind of set up in most of the model runs as the target go-to area. And that snow track does shift eastward to, I'd say, Dubuque and up towards northern Illinois as well. So if anybody's doing any traveling into northeastern portions of the state later on into the evening especially, that area is going to be impacted too.
And I know that's another big thing that is on a lot of people's mind is we're heading into a holiday week next week. Thanksgiving's next Thursday. A lot of people are taking all of next week off if they're lucky enough. College students like myself, we get to go home tomorrow. So a lot of us are watching the weather very closely because that will have great impacts on travel, especially tomorrow night. It looks like the evening commute could be pretty messy, especially when you have those 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts and those snow will be coming down at a good rate tomorrow. I think we would agree there.
Oh yeah, we could definitely see some snowfall rates around 1/2 inch to 1 inch per hour. I wouldn't doubt even some spots see higher amounts than that per hour. So that's going to increase, the coverage on the roads, how quick that piles up, and that's going to decrease your visibility too. So I'd say if anybody's looking at traveling tomorrow, if you're central or eastern portions of the state, mainly southeastern, I would get out early in the day, because that snow is going to be mainly coming later, the afternoon into the evening. But if
it looks like that the system has sort of slowed down overall, and that's one of the reasons why the winter storm watch now goes through 6 a.m. on Saturday, because that system has slowed down. It looks like it shifted further south, and the question is how far south is this thing going to keep tracking? And because the further south it goes, or any movement in general will have a great impact on snowfall totals. So I think that's one of the biggest things on trying to figure out. That's what makes this forecast so complicated, trying to figure out where the heaviest band will set up and whatnot, and and how long these heavy bands will stick around will greatly impact the totals.
Yeah, I agree, and we have continued to see that shift to the south, and I think that shift is real. The next even 12 hours obviously are going to be pretty crucial as the new model runs come in, to see where that deviates and to see where those heavy band line set up compared to how they have in the past model runs. But again, as you had stated before, I'd say north of Des Moines to around Fort Dodge, even up a little bit northward to southern Kossuth County could be in for some pretty hairy snowfall.
Jason, I appreciate you hopping on today. I think we've covered most of the grounds. If anything changes, I know if people can find you guys on KCCI Weather Reports on Facebook and on Twitter. You can follow Jason's personal or your work account, Jason Sydjeko KCCI. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep. And then you can find us on the Iowa Storm Chasing Network on Facebook and Twitter. You can follow my personal account at Storm Chaser Zach, and we'll continue to provide those updates as warranted as they come out later on this afternoon.